Hey, I'm Baruch and I'm here with Ryan
Hey guys.
from airmechGmaeplay, and today we're going to talk about the loadout of Airmech. So let's just go to my army and let's see all the units that we have to get in a game. For example, there are many groups: infantry, guardians, tanks, artillery, many units, and also boosters and bombs. So let's talk about the guardians. For example, the first one, it says repairs your airmech does not affect units of the airmechs. So Ryan, what do you think about the first one?
I've actually seen someone use this, and it actually was useful. I was chasing him down, and he healed himself while I was chasing him, and he ended up living. But not very many people use it, and not very many well-experienced people use it. So either they never really gave it much of a chance, or they have, and it's not worth it.
And also the blaster warning, what it does is it just increase the attack power of your airmech. Ryan, have you used a blaster warning?
I have used the blaster. I haven't found it that useful, but that's because of the air mechs I've chosen to use. And I'm not really a full-out attack air mech, so I've never used it really to my advantage.
Yeah, I have used it before, but I didn't like it and I didn't find it useful. So the last one is the radar guardian, and it says the increased radar size of your airmech is stackable.
Yeah, I've never used this one, and I've never seen
Yeah,
anyone
me
use
neither.
it. I don't think anyone's ever even tested it. But I'm guessing it could be really useful because if you have maybe 5 of them on your mech, and by the way, these guardians kind of float around your mech, um, but in order to get them, you have to increase your guardian, um, I don't know, power or whatever you want to call it, which you can obtain through experience points that or levels that you get you. But I'm thinking that the radar one could be useful because if you had 5 of them, you might be able to see the entire map and
Yeah.
see when the enemy's base doesn't have units in it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be pretty strategic to use that one. I still have yet to test it though.
The next group, it's infantry, and the most common one is the soldier because it's the most cheaper one. And there are many like the runner, the probe, boomer, Sam, and fixer.
Yeah, the fixers are actually probably one of my favorite units in the entire game. The reason for that is it takes a lot of strategy to use them. They're not very good at taking bases, and I wouldn't recommend using them to do that since they cost 700 instead of uh, whatever 500 like the soldiers. But the fixers can heal each other, so if you use them as a shield to defend your base or to uh, protect units in another person's base, they become very useful.
Yeah, and the Sams are also not as cheap as the soldier and the runner and probe, but they're very strong with missiles, right, Ryan?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of the cool things that you can do is if you have a bunch of Seekers at a base, just rush a bunch of SAMs in there. The SAMs will take out the Seekers, and then you can go in there with your air mech.
Yeah, there you have a free strategy from Ryan. So there are also many tanks, for example the Gemini, Armadillo, and the Longhorn. Oh, and the Goliath. And I recommend to use a Gemini or Longhorn. I don't see the difference. Do you see one, Ryan?
The Gemini has stronger turrets, but the turrets turn slower. That's the main difference
Yes.
between the two.
Yes.
But I would recommend the Gemini because the cost is only 500 difference.
Mm-hmm. And about the armadillos?
Um, a lot of people don't find them useful, but they are useful for dropping them into the enemy's base directly because you can carry 3 at a time
Yes.
instead of just 1 like the Gemini.
Mm-hmm. And
But
then
yeah, they're not very strong or armored. Another important unit to get on the tank units are the Seekers. They're really strong against Airmechs, but they don't attack any ground units. They are very useful, and I do recommend getting them.
That one comes with your default loadout, so don't worry about buying it. So it just in your loadout has the T99 and a patcher and longhorn and light mine, a zipper and jocko. That's the default loadout, and there's no pilot and just an airmech. So let's move on to the artillery, and I really use the T99 and also it's a default unit, and there are many. Has a grinder, head, RT, Archie, and Bertha. Which one do you prefer, Ryan?
The T99 is so good at defending your base. I think T99 is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
But I'd have to say that RT is also one of my favorites because it requires a lot of strategy. You have to set it up in the right long range and does quite a bit of damage. So it's good at taking out large clumps of units that you can't get close to.
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend buying the RT.
And also there are many random units, for example boosters and bombs and mines. What do you think about the mines?
I think the heavy mine is extremely useful.
Yeah, the
if
heavy
you have
mine.
The right airmech for it. Because I remember putting a whole bunch of jackals down and then someone coming in and blowing them all up in one instance. I was like, dang, they just took out this entire army with one mine, so they're very useful.
And the most common one, the moneymaker. I really recommend to get this one when you have kudos. If you can afford the moneymaker, be sure to get this one first of all the units, right, Ryan?
Yeah, definitely. First unit you're going to want to buy with your kudos is going to be the moneymaker.
And I'm guessing it's just like 600 kudos?
Yeah, actually I think it might be 300.
Oh, 300,
300,
yes.
600. But yeah, pretty cheap.
So let's talk about the pilot. Now you don't get a pilot when you have your default loadout, so you might wanna get a trial. I think these two are Lexi and Ash are the ones on free trial, so you might wanna get one of those two. Or which one you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I notice a lot of new players running around with the original pilot that has no stat bonuses at all.
Oh, no pilot? Yes.
So you can always tell when you see a newbie, they don't have a pilot. So for new players, definitely go for one of the ones that have a star marked on it.
And it says no free trial. Yeah. And which one is your favorite pilot?
Out of all the pilots, it depends on what I'm using for my Airmech, but Kira is probably my most used. And it's because it has the plus 25% unit repair rate, and since I'm always repairing my units, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
And also the plus 30 respawn rate speed is very good because I tend to die a lot with my Airmech, which is pretty awful, but it's nice to respawn very fast.
Yes.
And get back into the game as fast as possible.
I was wondering last time why you respond so fast.
Yeah. Kira.
I really prefer Lexi and Samson because Lexi has attack power, so I can take less time killing a Gemini or Longhorn, and also Samson because has unit armor and unit damage and unit cap. So that's a good one too. So let's go to the Airmechs, my favorite topic.
Yeah.
So which one is your favorite Airmech?
I have two favorites, but Osprey is one I always use. Osprey has the ability to heal units, and that becomes very useful in a lot of times. The downside of Osprey is you never want to come to a one-on-one with another airmech because you will pretty much always die.
Yeah.
My second favorite one is Warthog, which is actually a new airmech that came out a week or two ago or something, I don't remember. And that's because of its ability to fire at the ground, and its really strong attack while it's on the ground. So when I'm using that one, I use a different pilot. And I
Which
use a
one?
pilot called Mako, or Mako, however you want to pronounce that.
Yeah, I think it's
The reason
Mako.
I use that, yeah, cool, Mako. So the reason I use that is because it has the 15% armor, which it doesn't have very high armor, so it's really useful. But the plus 33% fuel efficiency is really useful because the Warthog runs out of fuel very fast, especially while carrying units. So that's one of the best pilots you can get for that.
So mine's, I think, is the Striker, and it says that it's the most common one, and that one comes also with your default, and I choose my custom skin, but it's still the same. The firepower doesn't change. I really like the Striker because it has an energy sword, and also you can get, when you get your ability, you can get more firepower. Then it's pretty strong when you upgrade to the third one. It's just pretty strong. And also because I got so attached to this Airmech because it's not faster like the Neo, but it's not as slow as the Osprey. That's why I like the
Yeah, it's really well
Striker.
balanced and rounded. I think we'll talk about the Airmechs in a later video, all the individual ones and good strategies for them. But for now, I think we should move on to the items.
Yes. Items.
So which item do you use?
I use Uncle Sam's hat. So which one do you use, Ryan?
You know, I've been using the Uncle Sam's hat also, but lately I've been using the Atlas too. The Atlas increases radar by 10%, and I have found that a little bit useful because I've been able to see the enemy before they've been able to see me. So it kind of helps perform or figure out what kind of tactic you want to use in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for some doesn't have the option to get the Uncle Sam's hat. The one I might recommend is the. It's hard to say. However, the Atlas though, I really like that one.
Yes. And I guess there are no comments about the Jimmy Swift tooth.
Oh, you know, well, they're just Swifters, so you don't really have to worry about them. They're not very good anyhow.
So let's change the topic and let's go to the cosmetics.
I'm just kidding, they're okay.
So there are cosmetics that you can mostly buy just for $3, but these cosmetics don't make you more powerful. They're just like these ones are like pets that follow you in the with your Airmech, and this one is just the flares. So I guess that's it about the loadout. Do you want to highlight something? So that's it, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Stay tuned for the next tutorial on Airmech.